Art to me is creating something that a person can view, a viewer can look at and be inspired by in some way or another. And my hope is that a viewer can look at my work and feel good, or feel some kind of a physical and psychological response that makes them feel better, and makes them appreciate life, makes them appreciate beauty. All art doesn't have to be beautiful, but my personal taste and my personal goal is to create and represent natural beauty.
This episode of Beyond the Gallery is brought to you by Ventana Fine Art, Santa Fe, New Mexico.
I'm Jim Agius, located in my studio in Paonia, Colorado. I'm a sculptor, and I work in clay and cast primarily in bronze. I knew I was an artist, believe it or not, from a little kid on. Always loved it. It just kind of came natural to me. And studied art ferociously, I would say, as a child. I would go to museums and libraries and study art history and about artists. I really never had an idea that I would be anything but an artist all of my life. To me, clay is a forgiving medium. It's pliable, it's malleable, you can add to it or take away from it readily. It's not like marble, for instance, where you're chipping away at it, and if you take too big a piece off, you're pretty well done with that piece if it's not where you wanted it to be coming from. I dabbled around in various businesses throughout my life, and probably it wasn't until 1989 where I had the confidence and the financial backing to be able to actually pursue it full time. And once I took the leap, I've been doing it ever since. Inspiration comes from a lot of places for me. Living in the mountains is by purpose. I'm here because I am inspired by it, the beauty of my surroundings. Seeing animals in their natural state is very beautiful. I mean, it's what could be more beautiful in a natural environment. And I have a lot of respect for animals, and I try to bring that out in my work. I try to give them integrity. I try to present them in a beautiful, natural way that represents that particular, whatever that particular animal might be. I think trying to breathe life into that sculpture is really my job. That's how I look at it anyway. I feel a responsibility to do the animal justice, basically. And I love it. I just love it. When you start getting into that realm of life form, and then you put that great energy that you pursue for the beauty and the love of the piece, somehow it projects and represents your imaginative aspect of what life is to you, or what makes it look lifelike to you. And when I achieve that, I have to stop right there, because it always astonishes me. It's like, whoa, where did that come from? You know, it's almost a goosebump moment where you feel like you've accomplished your goal. That's the art. That's when art does its thing. And it's a magical moment. Looking back on the history of my work, it's like reading a diary. It's like stepping stones to where I am today. And it's how I felt at that period of time. That shows in my work. I like being able to look back on it and see where I was as a person and as an artist, because it's all in there, it's all represented in there. And it's really an interesting historical view of myself. My real fear for art is that people will lose sight of it, that people will lose the fact that art is an essential aspect of the human spirit. The lack of appreciation for art or the lack of respect for art would be a very, very devastating thing for me, and that's really the only real fear that I have. When I see people experiencing my work in one way or another, whether they're seeing it in a gallery or seeing it in a public display or coming to my studio and seeing me work and my work, all the different reactions that people might have, it's exhilarating to me to see that the way a person views and admires or rejects or accepts or wants to touch a piece of my work. If I can just touch somebody that way, it's a real reward to me. It's more than the monetary reward of selling a piece, really. Knowing that you made a connection with someone, inspired them to think and to visualize something out of body, really.
This episode of Beyond the Gallery is brought to you by Ventana Fine Art, Santa Fe, New Mexico. To learn more about Jim Agius and to see some of his work, please visit ventanafineart.com.